Thank you, Governor. The next speaker is Robert Vincent, followed by Frank Dannel.
Hi, Governor. Thank you for taking my questions. My second advice question. My basic question is, since you've been governor, how could you abolish the death sentence, making Connecticut a killer's paradise? Create a program that allows violent offenders the ability to get out of prison early, letting them run free on the streets with the citizens before their time, cutting funding by hundreds of millions of dollars, with at least 25 million of that being taken away from mental health programs. Such programs could identify and prevent another Sandy Hook and Adam Lanza. So by coddling and rewarding prisoners, you have turned around your wrath toward the legal gun owners of the state, not realizing that the legal gun owners could be the ones that could actually stop the next mass murder, since no one commits a serious crime with a police officer standing there. So how do you respond to this total turnaround, as well as unconstitutional laws against law-abiding gun owners, while skirting around the real issues of the heinous crimes that were committed in this state?
Sure. So I think you have a point of view.
I do. I think you also.
And I think sometimes people's points of view, as well as earnestly felt, don't actually speak to reality. So I'm going to share some reality with you.
Okay, let's go.
So listening to your statement, one would imagine today that crime is substantially higher in Connecticut today, in the year 2014, than it was in the year 2010, if you listen to your question. But in point of fact, Connecticut is safer today than it has been at any time in 46 years. We've had fewer crimes committed in Connecticut in 2013 than we did going back 46 years. But actually, when you adjust it for rate of crime, it goes back even further than that, because 46 years ago, our population as a state was 600,000 people fewer. If I listened to everything you said, I would believe today that we must be having a plethora of murders take place in our state. And in point of fact, murders for only the 4th time in 40 years were below 100 people. Now let me say that again. In 2013, for only the 4th time in 40 years in Connecticut, total murders were under 100.
Is everybody's on?
If I listen to your question, and I believe what you said, I would believe that violent offenders are doing less time under the Malloy administration than they were under the or Rowland administration. But in point of fact, violent offenders are doing a larger percentage of their sentence in the Malloy administration as opposed to the or Rowland administration. And in point of fact, under the Rowland administration, many violent criminals were doing 59% of their sentence. We are at 85, 90%, but I'm telling you, I'm looking you right in the eye, and I'm telling you that violent offenders are doing more of their sentence under my administration. By the way, I was a prosecutor. I tried 23 felony cases. I tried 4 homicides. I had convictions in 22 of those cases. I take this stuff very, very seriously. So I actually have to tell you that I'm very proud of what we've accomplished in this state. And in point of fact, I can point a finger at you and say, you're safer while I've been governor than you were under the prior 2 administrations. Now, and that's statistically proven. But now then let's turn to another issue. That is, you've raised whether what has been done is constitutional. One court has already decided. We have courts in this country. We have a legislative branch, we have an executive branch, and we have courts. Courts are where the constitutionality of things are decided. You've thrown that term around a little bit. It's gone to the court, and guess what? You lost. So what the legislature did has been ruled to be appropriate. But let's really look at what they did. We believe in Connecticut that everyone who drives a car should have a license. We believe in Connecticut that everyone who gets on a plane at Bradley Airport should have a background check. And we believe in Connecticut that everybody who buys a gun should have a background check. That's who we are. That's what we are. In Connecticut, the people, acting through their representatives, in a republic form of government, have decided that the guns that were outlawed until 2004 should not be available for sale in our state. Let me say that again. We the people, you, whether you agree with your legislator or not, you elected somebody, or your constituents elected somebody. They sent people to Hartford, and they passed legislation that said, I want to be very clear, that weapons that could not be sold in or possessed in our state prior to 2004 should not and no longer can be sold in our state. But what we didn't do is say that if you purchased your gun prior to this law going into effect, that you had to give up your gun. The legislature decided that you could keep it. And if you had one, and if you registered it, you're fully compliant with the law. Because the citizens of Connecticut thought that that was an appropriate thing to make themselves and their neighbors safer. And with respect to gun ownership, you know, there are lots of statistics, but I'm going to share one with you. A suicide attempt committed in a home where guns are available is by many hundreds of percent more likely to be successful than not. In our law that we passed, we strengthened the requirement with respect to keeping guns under lock and key. And we particularly did that with respect to homes where people with mental illness reside. And I think if I polled everybody in this room, even folks who agree with you that some of the rules that we made were inappropriate, I can't imagine that anyone in this room doesn't think that a gun in the home of a person who has mental illness shouldn't be under lock and key. So you may agree with some, but I'll bet you would even agree, if you weren't on the spot, you may disagree with some, but I'll bet you would agree with some of the things we did as well. It's great to have you.
I would agree that everyone should keep their guns under lock and key, as most responsible gun owners do. So you can't say that we don't believe in that. But I still want to know, what does gun ownership have to do with mental health?
Oh, I think it has a lot to do with it. So let me be very clear. You know, and on a national level, the argument you're making is that a lot of folks say, well, it's not guns, it's mental health. And the truth is, it's both. I would say, you would say it's mental health. So I'm going to share something with you. I talked a little while ago about ACA, the Affordable Care Act. And it allows us to extend Medicaid and mental health services to millions and millions of people who have no insurance today. In that is mental health coverage. So I got out a map, and I looked at all of the states that have the weakest, in my opinion, gun laws. And then I compared, and by the way, those are the states where they're saying it's not guns, it's mental health. And then I got out another map that showed all of the states that didn't extend Medicaid for free, at least as state dollars go, to their constituents. You know what? They almost align perfectly. So I know when people are trying to take it from one argument to another argument to get you off base. But when I look at a map where every state that doesn't want to extend insurance coverage to people and cover mental illness, and I look at the folks where the predominant argument is yours, and I see that they're both the same, it weakens the argument a little bit. But it's great to be with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.